Nothing said on the Touchgrass podcast is a recommendation to buy or sell any investments or products. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the views expressed by anyone on the show are solely their opinions only, not financial advice or necessarily the views of the Touchgrass podcast. Our hosts, guests, and the Touchgrass podcast team may hold positions in the companies, funds, or projects discussed. Enjoy the show.
GM everyone, welcome back to another episode of Touchgrass Podcast. Today is like a very special day. We just seen Bitcoin go from 63 to almost 70K, kind of marking a pivot to the market. And I am interviewing Pivot, who I've been following for a long time and was very excited to get him on the pod. So it's like very perfect timing and with what's happening in the market right now, and super excited to get into everything. But yeah, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Doing good. Can't complain.
100%. I mean, anyone who's in crypto right now and has been catching these moves and build up is definitely having a good time. But yeah, before we get into like what's happening in the markets and what's happening in equities land and also some of the macro stuff, do you want to give it like a quick intro about yourself, your background in the space, how you became a trader and all?
Yeah. So, I've been here since 2017, May 2017. I originally got into crypto. I was in a Discord group chat, trading stocks actually, mainly penny stocks, funny enough. And there was something about like crypto miners, or it was it was really a joke, but they started sharing like these crypto miner companies or these Bitcoin companies, and I'm like, what the hell is a Bitcoin, or what is a Bitcoin mining company? So then that like led to me like looking into it, because these things were ripping at the time. So I'm like, well, why is it ripping? What is this? And that got me into figuring out what Bitcoin was. And I fell in love with the like take it to the man, and this system sucks, and we need like, sovereign wealth, and the bankers are not for the people. Just like the real deal, believe in something. This was like the real time of believing, which was actually probably the hardest time to have believed in something, because there was nothing that came. There was just nothing. There was nothing there available yet. And we created the crypto room within the Discord. I ended up becoming like a mod of that or whatever. And I bought my first Bitcoin, I believe, at $1,800. And what a ride. What a ride it's been. Has not been easy. I know if you open up a chart now, like some people do, they go, ha, what a joke,
Yeah,
right? Like what a joke. And I just fell in love with everything about crypto. I fell in love with the access, like the no gatekeeping, essentially, to like market information. That became huge to me, because like you see, Bloomberg cost $25,000 for the terminal. Okay. Besides that, you had fractional shares of coins that you were able to buy. You weren't priced out of nothing. You were able to sit at the table, as a young kid, as a brokey, as a whatever. You had the opportunity to come sit down, put in the work, and achieve something. Not with people like keep pulling the ladder up on you. That's what got me into crypto in the first place. And obviously not trusting the government and stuff like that, but that's more like fundamental shit. And yeah, that's how I'm here, and now I'm here for going on about to be 10 years.
that's crazy. But yeah, I've been talking about, even when the landscape has changed a lot and maybe the things that has got us into crypto are probably no longer in the same, the purity of that vision and believing something is probably not there, but something still feels special where you mentioned Bloomberg, it costs a lot. In crypto, we have so many resources out there for traders, investors that are basically for free, and you can just go and use. Everything is public, and little things like that still make a big difference. And uh, I mean, true believers, maybe the OGs, they bought a lot in the early days, and they sold the top, and they probably will buy it again. But I'm glad to see that someone still kind of has that early vision where something like I tweeted this other day, like people are not dreaming anymore. At least we used to dream about Bitcoin. We're not doing that even anymore. So it's kind of sad, I think.
They're not even buying it anymore. Like that that's like you're 100% right. Back in the day, dude, it was about the mission. Like there was a core mission that the suits are eventually going to have to buy our bags, which literally happened. Like IBIT becoming a thing is insane for someone in 2017. Governments pushing bills is insane for someone in 2017. And like, yeah, it took this blind leap of faith and belief. And now like for Bitcoin itself, it's like if the crypto natives aren't the buyer, then what are we doing?
I know, right? Like it's like it's a bit of, we do a disservice to ourselves where we have trusted this thing, we've created the network effects, and we're gonna pretty much hand it over to someone who pretty much doesn't really believe in it. They're just
Yes.
thinking it of as another the risk asset. Sure, you can think of it as like that if you're just pure trader. And I mean, myself, like I trade Bitcoin, I hold some of it when it makes sense. But someone who's like, you know what, I'm not going to sell it. Those are like a rare breeds these days.
Yeah, I look, does it have wild swings? Yes, it could move 80% drawdown, 6% drawdown, and that's difficult for people that are putting up like real size, right? And it's supposed to be just a store of wealth. It's not even like essentially it's not meant for you to just get rich. Like that's not really what the goal is supposed to be. It's just more to protect yourself against government. That's always been the deal. So, I mean, getting in and out of it is fine. Selling some at the highs or whatever is fine. And I really think I mean, gold is no different, right? Gold just, what did gold do? Gold tapped 5,000 after that giga run or whatever, and it was still profit taking. That's a physical store of value that's still sold off. Like
And you
it's
had
kind of the
and you
thing.
had and you had countries buying thousands of tons of gold every fucking quarter. That
Yeah.
didn't still happen for Bitcoin. Sure, you had some institutions come in and they're, blowing a yard here or there at the top, and they just, like kind of going crazy. But we still didn't have, like how we expected the suits to come in 2021. That came
Mhm.
in the next cycle, and we were expecting nation states to come in, and we'll probably see it the next cycle. Uh, but the one point I wanted to kind of follow up, like kind of transition to, is you mentioned the drawdowns. They always, it was 80%, then 70, and everyone still expects that to kind of follow, and maybe it will. But I don't see
Mhm.
a world where Sailor has kind of bought up this much of Bitcoin, institutions have bought up so much of Bitcoin that's not being sold even here. So do you still think like 70% drawdown makes sense, or we just gonna chop here? Maybe we saw this up move, and we just go up from here, or do you still see 4 year cycle is a thing again, and we have some maybe 3 4 months of chop and then go back up from October November?
All right. So it's a good question. For me personally, when I don't in October, I was calling for tops, and my biggest mistake was I said 4 year cycle is essentially dead, mainly because we had institutional flow. So I'm like, dude, what for? Like It's literally going to be that free that I get to do a 4-year cycle again. Like, so for me, it's like the game theory there is retarded. But all at the same time, maybe that game theory being so retarded is what makes it literally play out, because everyone's going to be like, nah, the 4-year cycle is over with. So now when it comes, and I was calling for a mini bear market. I had no intentions on the real cycle bear market. I thought short term, 3-4 month drop, and then continuation of 150 at the time. And I was certainly humbled on we're in a real bear market. This is like liquidity is dry. As for going lower, personally, when I look at liquidity, even after today's bounce, I look at structure, and I am still in the camp of potentially lower, possibly 48K. That's pretty much where I'm looking. But it's not just price, it's also time and space. And when I look at the structure, all I can see is at minimum, we chop within a range. The range itself is kind of brutal because, to be honest with you, you're still bearish under 81,000. So we can keep going 58K to 81K, and you're still not out the woods. You know what I mean? You have a lot of overhead over that 81,000. So whether it means for the next 3-4 months we just keep chopping around within that window, or if we do get, which is a bear market favorite, a Wyckoff accumulation pattern, we still have not got that final swipe of the low. I'm looking at inefficiencies on a monthly, and when I look at inefficiencies on a monthly, if you look at August of 2024 and you look at September of 2024, those wicks and the FVG of February 2024, I am aiming for around there. I'm aiming to fill that in. So 48K is my target. It does not have to be. Yeah, you see those wicks right there? Yep, to the left. Yep, right there. So it doesn't have to be 48. I'm not here to try to catch a Pico bottom. I'm not trying to cloud chase. It's just I am a swing trader. I like to trade momentum. Right now, that doesn't look very momentum-y to me. Okay, the liquidity is not there. It didn't take a lot of money to do what happened today. All the money came from the short side, right? You want to short. Now, me still being bear doesn't mean I'm shorting. I refuse to touch this market. I will not touch nothing at all, because look what happens when you touch it on the bear side, right? It's illiquid. It doesn't take a lot of money to come chasing everybody. And then it forces a squeeze like this. And now the psychology of the market is buy all dips or buy into resistance. And that really, what happened today really might be what causes the next leg down. I'm not saying it has to happen, but look at the vibe shift on the timeline today. Everybody sharing a P&L. Apparently everybody was long. I don't know how, because the open interest says otherwise. Right?
Yeah, this is a good kind of to understand like how offsides the positioning is. Where Monk, who's great on Hyperliquid, he covers Hyperliquid. He says Bitcoin longs got ADL on Hyperliquid of 7% move. Should tell you how offsides everyone is. It's kind of crazy, right? Like everyone is of this. They just got so much bearish, even though I've been bullish for like 3 or 4 weeks now, but the chop has been brutal, as you said. But I was bullish mainly because, sure, you had this AI kind of slowdown happen, and the earnings are awesome and everything is great, and we've had this kind of up move in equities as well and make new all time highs, and then we had this job, and you had this like 1 or 10 days where you just got hit with bad news after bad news after bad news, and literally Bitcoin did nothing, right?
Yep.
And every time you were like, okay, some Trump made some headlines or cold card hack or equities going up, and equities kind of slowing down, and we saw memory pull back, photonics pull back. We've had all these, and also the mag sevens got crushed, which we can talk about later. But you saw all these happen, and Bitcoin, what does it do? It's like literally at the same price, 63 to 64, 64.5, 64.6. Nothing is happening.
Yep.
And when you kind of see that, where every bad news comes and you just see this rise in open interest, and everyone's like, oh my God, we've reached to 1010 open interest. And it was just shorts kind of just being, yeah, this is going to break down with equities and it's been so weak. And everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna puke and then bounce, and that just kind of made it. That just made it so obvious, like something different is gonna happen, whereas
Mhm.
everyone's just gonna be on the short side. So I was not surprised of this move, but the Scott Bessent kind of post, like what he did on the bond market, and I hope you can explain what it actually means, accelerated it. But I agree with you. We could basically chop maybe a range in the 60 to 80K and maybe go down again, but I'm not sure. But I would put that at low likelihood, and maybe we just chop in between this range and maybe have another swing of those lows, but not make go to 40s and then kind of start up.
That would be a
Uh,
crazy trigger, by the way. Trying to take the lows and failing
yeah,
would be a crazy long signal
because
to me personally.
everyone's gonna keep waiting, and it's gonna keep going up, and no one's gonna get an entry, and everyone's just gonna
Hmm.
keep chasing.
Okay, so you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of 16,000 and everybody targeting 12,000. I still have the $12,000 line on my chart. Like it still sits there, right? Like it reminds me of when we were at, yes, right there, bro. In that pocket right there, the 1716 area, everybody still called 12,000, 12,000,
Yeah,
12,000. The most they got was that 15.5 range. Now, to to me, it's starting to feel like that a bit. Where everybody, including myself, saying 48K, 48K, 48K. Is 48,000 the new 12,000?
could be.
It's possible. It's possible. Now, for me, I'm talking perp trading, right? Spot, dude, if you haven't been buying spot while things are going sideways for fucking however long, I don't know what you're waiting on. I have no idea. You could have DCA'd freaking $100 a day if you wanted. I don't know. But when it comes to like perpetual swaps and stuff and like actually trading on leverage, I need the liquidity. You know what I mean? I need like momentum. I don't want to sit in a position for 85 days for the move to last 30 seconds, which like literally just happened today. Like, oh my God, bears are retarded. I'm like, all right, bro, like chill out a little bit here, dude. You sat there for the 80 something days for this move, getting chopped up. Like, there's a difference between investing and perp trading. They're not the same thing. Like, yeah, you could be bullish on a long-term investment, but also when it's time for trading, we're talking about, like day-to-day, intraday stuff here. It's much different. It's a different thought process to have, and you need to be able to separate the two.
Yeah, I want to bring up this just recent tweet from Maine who said, I think everyone's like, oh my God, the crypto, everything just pumped for 10% when nothing really happened. And he just says, if the bottom is actually in, you have like 3 years to actually catch everything. So stressing about catching the lows, as you said, doesn't really make any sense. And usually, Bitcoin 1 year long bear market is followed by a multi-year bull. That's so true for some people, someone who's been here for at least few years and at least one whole cycle. You can just see, like you can just sometimes you don't even need to look at the charts if you've been here long enough. You can just open Twitter and you can kind of get a sense of what's happening. And this like last couple of weeks has been that for me in a way. uh, but yeah, do you want to touch on the macro stuff that's been kind of caught this move off guard. I know that you trade little equities and you kind of understand that as well. And any thoughts on the macro stuff that's changing, because everything feels like it's driven by macro, and you have to pay a little attention even if you don't understand most of it.
Yeah. All right. So to start, to give like a little overhead view of things, there is a global shift happening in macro, right? No matter how you feel about Trump, he is shifting how the economy deals with each other, how countries deal with each other. And it's not just him. And we're also shifting into an AI world. And we're also shifting into commodities are a super duper important piece of everything that we're doing in this in AI or whatever the hell, right? So it's this real big overhead for traders, because it's always like there, it's always like lingering, like the Japanese yen, and is there going to be an unwind there that causes a carry trade? Yields on treasuries are seeking higher yield. What is going to happen with that is the higher yields going to take liquidity away from risk markets, because I mean, hey, if I can book 5.5% or maybe eventually 6% on a 10-year essentially risk-free besides inflation bond, why am I putting my money elsewhere when I could just lock it up right there, right? That's really like where all this comes. And the thing Bessent did today, to me personally, I wrote it today, and I've written about it for months, is I thought this was well known that he was going to do it. But what I've slowly been learning over the past few months is sometimes the most obvious shit or the most common sense shit is, I guess, not the most obvious or common sense to people. I don't really, or it's just not priced in yet, and I don't believe that it wasn't priced in yet. I just think this is outright just algo trading and the positioning right before an OPEX. You are sitting in negative gamma, which means you're prone to volatility. You're begging for volatile headlines. It's inevitable that the market is going to swing violently. And when you have, I mean, the Treasury come out saying he's going to do this and say he's going to play ball, it's really big. It's really big. So
So how big of a pivot this actually is? Like, so you mentioned like the positioning was offside, a little headline kind of triggered the algos, and we saw this push up. But how massive of a just macro shift is this? Where they're just gonna, everyone is like, I'm seeing a timeline, they're just gonna print again, and it's gonna be awesome couple of years for risk assets, especially I think for gold, for crypto. Yeah, just how big of a shift this is,
it's
and how should
huge.
it? Yeah.
It's huge. It relieves a lot of stress. It relieves a lot of stress across the market. It relieves stress for the government itself. It relieves stress for tech companies, AI companies. It relieves stress in crypto. It's a relief. It is a relief. Now the whole we're gonna print. I mean, dude, like that's inevitable always. But like you timing that, I mean, just trade the freaking chart, bro. Like you'll know when the liquidity is there. If you're someone that watches order flow and you're watching tapes all day long and you're watching size or whatever, you know when there's a new regime of liquidity that has entered the market. Like if you've had Agron for the past few months, it's as quiet as a fucking golf course. Like,
Today it was music to my ears,
yeah, but how long did that music last? Right?
just for a couple of hours.
Just for a little bit. Now, like that's the other thing. Like I used to always have Agron with the sound, right? I don't even have to be at the desk. Just from the sound alone, I know what the hell is going on. right? I don't see they're trying to front run potential liquidity, which I get it, but a lot of the times the market does come and punish you for doing so. So I don't know. Look, the macro shit is noisy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of people, majority people, including myself, you could be
Yeah.
aware of the macro
Yeah.
stuff, but that shouldn't dictate your trading. I personally
Yeah.
don't think it should.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's just something. Just like people are in their interest, they probably follow, but it doesn't really matter. As I said, you just need to look at the chart, and the chart tells you what's going to happen
Yeah.
before the headline even comes. I want to switch gears a bit. We talked about macro and your journey, but I know that you're a big Hyperliquid bull, and you've been talking about it for a long time. You've been early to it, and it's obviously it's one of those coins where it does nothing for 6 months and then goes up 100% in a week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where do you see it right now? uh, I feel like it looks great. It looks awesome, but what are your thoughts on Hyperliquid right now, and how do you see it into end of the year?
All right. So I'm gonna start this by saying we've been saying for years, we are going to on-chain everything, right? That's been the argument. Put everything on chain. That started with NFTs, all these things, everything on chain. Put the houses on chain, put the mortgages on chain, on chain, on chain, on chain, on chain. Now you have an exchange that is putting every stock on chain. An absolute pioneer in doing it the right way and building trust and liquidity. How do you fade that? That's my biggest thing, is like, how do you fade someone that has proved itself all bear market? There's always that one winner in a bear. There's always that one coin that just sticks out throughout a bear market, and when they come out of the bear market, they absolutely rip faces because the strength they showed in a bear market. And to me, I think a lot more traders, good traders, top traders, even new guys. I mean, I'm sure I see a lot of TradFi guys opening HL accounts, Hyperliquid accounts, just so that they could get the leverage, or just so that they can maybe double down on their positions or protect against their positions. I see a lot of guys that I know for only trad that open up Hyperliquid accounts to trade a perp book on the side, right? I don't think that stops. Perps are better than anything. There's no better trading vehicle than perpetual swaps. And right now, there is nobody doing it better than Hyperliquid. I will say, to me personally, you shouldn't have all your chips on Hyperliquid, right? If you're someone using a DEX and you have decent amount of money, or you just want to, whatever your stack is, and want to protect some, it should be diversified. So my argument is Hyperliquid is clearly number one, but Lighter should get a little bit of love. Like, if they also have a partnership with Robinhood, they're
Yep.
the core American decentralized exchange. The dude Vlad doesn't seem like some retard LARP to me, even though Jeff is like Giga Chad, like nothing beats Jeff. The guy is a wizard, and the team behind him, they are just killing it. But I think you should have a little bit of your capital over there, and I think they both continue to
Yep.
succeed and grow and win together. I've always said, in any market of any niche of any sector, there's always like these top two, three, four companies that take 80% of the market share, right?
Correct.
So I'm under the impression Hyperliquid, number one, and at least Lighter. The other DEXs I don't take very seriously whatsoever. I think the farming of other DEXes is, I mean, it's diminishing returns, and you're just risking your money on bucket shops essentially. And I'm not down for that. If you make money, congrats, great for you. You did take the risk, so you do deserve it. But it's not for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
So, oh, and my targets, my target for Hyperliquid is 260. I think it's a guarantee. It's a lock. I don't. Hyperliquid should be in the top 5 cryptocurrencies. Like, I think it's retarded that it won't be.
Yeah, we've had like the multi-coin guys on and we're talking about their targets, and I was like, usually the VCs and some of these guys usually are, they're not as degen as ours, but hearing you, I think we should up our targets, because they've been saying 450 to 625 as the best case or something. But I agree with you. I think 260 to 300 is a very good spot. I don't know if you watch our show, but I'm a very big lighter bull. Been talking about it for a year since TGE, and I think it's like one of the best businesses along with Hyperliquid. And I think $10 is like a good spot for it. I mean, 10 billion is not that big of a target,
33.
especially. Okay, you
Not
are.
even. I'm not even joking. That's my target for lighter. 33.
Let's go. But yeah, I agree with you. I think if the theme of the cycle is going to be businesses that make money and big smart, like all these institutions are going to buy some of these things and allocate decently, we have to. The concentration is going to be much higher than last cycle. So something like a lighter or hyperliquid, or something where people want kind of a proxy to Bitcoin in a world where AI is taking over, where they prioritize something like privacy more. Sure, like Zcash is something everyone talks about. I don't understand it that much. Sure, I understand that crypto without privacy is a failed kind of experiment. But that's another. That's how. I mean, you don't have to like even understand. Think of the thesis, right? As you said, just look at the charts over the last 7 8 months. Just look at the coins that have always been bullish. It's the same ones. It's lighter. It's hyperliquid. It's Zcash, and recently Pump has been awesome. And there's maybe one more token that has done well, almost on all time frames of the last 1 year. Uh, but yeah, the selection is super important. But from your side, you've been here, like I said, for 10 years. Besides selection, what's going to be crucial for the next cycle, especially if you want to capture asymmetric returns? And as everyone says, like, I don't believe that the returns are going to get smaller. Sure, Bitcoin may not go from 16K to 120K, but I still think there's going to be opportunities where you can make, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40x. What do you think?
All right. So for me, I this is my thesis for AI also, but it stemmed from crypto, and then I had like this epiphany where it's like, holy shit, this is gonna apply to AI also. The application layer. I don't know. They're calling like a lot of these things L3s. I you just want to come up with your own terms. That's cool. L1, L2, L3. I think in crypto, businesses, fundamental businesses that make money, and that money gets returned back into the coin is what will be important. There is no reason to buy a coin that gives you nothing in return. They're making all this money on chain, on chain, on chain, right? But it never makes it to the coin. That makes no sense to me. And I really think Hyperliquid is what broke that, showing you what is value versus what is vapor, right? Also, the tokenomics on a lot of things, especially something like Solana, proves to you that if the tokenomics are not right, you are not going to get the correct returns, such as when Solana went to 250, right? That was the second time it went to 250 in whatever amount of years, right? Guess what? The market cap was double versus the last time it went to 250. So you were robbed from what you should have made because of the tokenomics is absolute. It's just terrible. The tokenomics, and I see now that they're trying to work on it and get into being not so inflationary and just stake your coin. Screw you. Like, why are you telling me I can't be liquid just to get a gain? You tell me I have
Do
to
you
lock
think?
my money away just to get a gain.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm always gonna pay attention to Solana because that's where the attention is, and you kind of get a sense of what's happening. But do you see? I know, like we joke about the L1 trade being dead, but I
Mm.
kind of have this instinct that there's gonna be some L1 that's gonna do crazy. Like last time, we had this injective move, 30x of the lows or 40x to kind of start the cycle. But do you see that kind of in the horizon where an L1 trade is still out there, no one knows about it? Maybe it's Monad, maybe it's against Solana, but do you kind of see those similar plays every cycle where there's going to be a DeFi play like Pendle or something? Do you see, like, do when you invest and kind of construct your portfolio where, okay, some Bitcoin, some altcoins, and as you said, hype is going to be a big position. But when you allocate, do you still think in that way, or have you kind of changed your framework a bit?
My framework has dramatically changed since last cycle. I have become extremely more jaded by the end of this cycle than I was the prior cycles. And the reason being is I've really come to the conclusion that these L1s really are commodities. They really are. In the beginning, when the SEC and all of them labeled them commodities, I'm like, haha, they fell for it, retards. Yeah, commodity, just to get us approved, right? To say that we weren't a security. So in the beginning, I was like, yeah, sure, we're a commodity, all right. And then I've come to the realization, no, we really are. L1s really are a commodity, right? They really are a commodity. And unless these L1s change their tokenomics to where they're they're scaling off of the volume that they're getting on chain, and it's not absolutely getting vamped by the application layer that's on their chain, I think L1s are just stay the commodity they are, and that's really it for them. And my biggest thesis has for any L1 is for Solana specifically. I don't understand how we have not gotten here yet, or maybe we do in this cycle. AI is absolutely go hand in hand with Solana. The speed, everything that Solana has built as a technology goes hand in hand with Solana. Solana is built for an AI world, and so is Bitcoin, actually. Crypto is built for this AI world. 1,000,000% it is. It's just sometimes I wonder if maybe it's just the leaders in the space that need to get recycled, and that maybe we need some new faces, maybe a new L1 that is designed or has the capability and the interest and the right tokenomics for this AI world, because we're not going backwards. This is only going to accelerate with AI. AI is, yeah, it's a, you could call it a bubble. I don't care if you call it a bubble. It will. They said internet was a bubble, and sure, that was a bubble, but the internet is still here, and it's stronger than ever. And the internet has gotten us AI now, and robots and everything else. So things need to adapt, and I don't know what the hell is going on with a lot of these L1s.
Yeah, 100%. I want to bring up this tweet, and I'm seeing a lot of this sentiment, and I don't believe in it, but I want to get your thoughts. Uh, Whiter2 is a really good on-chain guy. He says, I reckon this new cycle will play out 90% on-chain. New users will be onboarded to TikTok, straight into Pump Fun app, and people who are waiting for a BTC move before getting involved and got convinced that a wealth effect in form of trickle-down flows from majors is needed before on-chain can really get up, are going to miss out majority of the move. How do you like view this kind of where this new generation of investors, traders, they're gonna look at BTC and go like, no, I don't want to invest in this. I don't want to invest in Berkshire Hathaway kind of thing, something that's solid, that has been, over the years done well, but I don't want to invest in it anymore. I want to go after the new shiny thing, and maybe the flows probably are not going to be big enough for to move it. But what do you kind of think that on-chain is going to thrive, but Bitcoin is not, or Bitcoin needs to thrive, and on-chain has to follow that? Like, where do you stand on that?
In my view, on chain equals Hyperliquid and lighter. Okay. Pump Fun and all those other applications, dude, yes, they're fun. Everybody likes to gamble. Everybody likes going to the casino. Everybody likes buying a scratch off or betting on a football game. Okay, cool. That is not something you can show up every day and do personally, in my view. It's not. And the fact that hold times I seen was like 5 minutes, what are we talking about? The other thing he did touch on was the USDC, right? That is another reason why I don't think these L1s are really the trade to take, because a lot now that we have Circle all over crypto, essentially the US dollar all over crypto, there's not a lot of reason to sit in I could buy memes in USDC. I don't even have to buy memes in
Yeah,
Solana. I can trade perpetuals in USDC. I don't need to trade perpetuals against my Bitcoin anymore. That has changed the game. We used to trade everything against our stack on perpetuals. It was you longed Bitcoin with your Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin, which, my God, I really love that. And I wish somebody would possibly bring that back. But everything goes down to the dollar now. So the, what I consider on chain is the DEX. If people doing the pump fund stuff, for me personally, that's the right side of the risk curve, and that comes on the tail end of the market for the most part. That comes when I have excess money and I want to go have some fun. You know what I mean? Let's go pump a few shitters, laugh about it. You don't even care if you lose because you're up so much in general from the cycle. This is just play money to see if I could turn my play money into even more money. The meme stuff is not something for me. Maybe it's for a younger crowd. To me, it's very extractive. To me, it's a freaking fire pit. And maybe there's some skill in it, but in my eyes, all it is social engineering, nothing else.
yeah. I mean, I think this debate will keep on going forever. Is it skill? Is it luck? Is it just insider plays? But I think, like, if you're someone who believes that degeneracy won't go away, you still feel people are still gonna max ape on chain. They're just gonna see the vibes return back. No one's gonna care what happened last cycle because ape's gonna ape, right? I mean, it will happen to us as well. Like if you're up on a perp trade and you're like, oh, I see some on-chain thing, and you want to, like, I've done this as well, so many people have done it. And if you have that view, I think a good exposure probably is pump fun, because it's still like low market cap and it's very easy to kind of build a narrative around. But I agree with you. It's not for everyone. Like that's why, even if I've seen this recent, I don't know if you've seen this Chinese meme that I don't know, Neil, I don't know how to spell it even, but it went viral, and I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. But when you have this system of I'm not going to touch these things because I don't really understand it, it becomes super easy to block it completely. Whereas if you understand something, let's say I understand, I don't know, Bitcoin very well, I can trade this thing sustainably every week in and out. That's the real skill, right? And it can help you build your stack, and maybe down the line, I don't know, like Solana and some of these things I do think will come back. It's not going to be like a runner every day, like 100 million runners, but I do think there's going to be some flavor of the week thing happening, and if you're chronically online, you can take advantage of that, right? And it's, again, as you said, it's not for everyone. but there's definitely a place for it.
Of course there is. And if you're someone that believes in meme coins, Pump Fun is probably a ticker that you throw some shekels at. But now my other thing is, if you just seen what the CFTC came out with, they're about to approve ICOs. Guess who bought the biggest ICO platform? Coinbase did, off of Kobe. So if you think meme coins are not going to have some type of competitor, they are. They're going to have ICOs to compete against. And those ICOs are going to get the fundamental dudes get bricked up, because now they get to go look at 1,000 different white papers, go get to look at fundamentals, and go get to do crazy write-ups on X, build a following, potentially build a freaking stack of money. The game is going to continuously change, and you do need to adapt, right? Will meme coins always be a thing? Of course, there was always meme coins forever. I used to trade on Cryptopia, absolute vaporless garbage. But we always had this. The innovational thing about calling it a meme was literally that, to tell you these are potentially worthless, but right now we're having a real good time buying this cultural coin right here, real quick. Like, that made it cool and acceptable, because you weren't trying to sell me something that wasn't real. You know what I mean? You weren't trying to sell me on some idea that you literally going to rug pull. Like, they used to have white papers out, and then they would show you all the guys that were invested in it, like the little headshots of all these people. None of the people on the paper were real humans, like, at all. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, we have shifted to at least being more transparent about things, and I appreciate that. And then the other thing about meme coins also is, you may be showing up to have some fun, but there is fucking sharks in the water now, okay?
Yeah.
That are waiting for the guppies who want to just have some fun. There are
Yep.
absolute sharks. And with AI now, if they're building scripts, you have no edge over these people
If
whatsoever.
you thought if you thought 2023 or 4 where people were sniping coins, you just don't know what's coming. But I want to kind of go like kind of complete opposite. We talked about meme coins. Now I want to talk
Hmm.
about TradFi a bit. I know you've been doing a lot more of that. As you said, I'm not touching this asset class yet. I want to wait for momentum, and TradFi had momentum for the longest time in recent 1 or 2 years, and right now it kind of slowed down. And I know that you've taken you went long, swing long at interesting points. For example, I think you were long Google at one point, and you were really bullish, and I think it played out at that point. But I want to talk about like what do you think is the next uh, trend where the hot ball of money it looks like flows into. Sure, it can be crypto. We've talked about it, but is there any other trend out there in TradFi you're looking at? We've seen memory go up, and we'll talk about it a bit. But we've seen memory go parabolic. We've had the chips and the compute play is still, I think, alive, but most of them are like it's kind of permadeath or something, which is weird, and I don't believe in it. But in the TradFi world, what are you seeing right now? What are the plays that are kind of you're paying attention to every day? Is it biotech? Like we just recently saw, cancer is getting cured.
Yeah.
And and
Crazy.
and I was like, I truly think cancer is getting cured, and you guys are bearish. uh, but yeah, what are you currently watching? Is it biotech? Is it space? Is it still AI? Where's your focus at right now?
I am absolutely all in on optical and photonics, balls deep, no hesitation. That is my swing with my spot portfolio when it comes to stocks. I am all in on that. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I just see what I see. I read what I read. I spend hours, days, weeks, months deep diving on this. It makes so much sense to me. That is where I'm at. and I just hope the hot ball money does come my way.
Why do you think photonics is? I know that when I think memory, I don't know, it was this week or last week, memory kind of it got nuked, and everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna rotate into photonics, and then
That
everyone was
blew my
caught off
mind.
guard.
It blew my mind.
Yeah,
I thought it was the craziest psyop I've ever seen in my entire life because those exact accounts were poo-pooing photonics the whole way up on memory. And I even said it on my stream, literally maybe a day or two before that. I outright said, now that memory has nuked, maybe some of these guys will recognize photonics and optics because they've made all their money on the way up. They're not scared of people offloading and cycling the money out of what they're in. And a day later, 2 days later, the entire timeline, photonics. And I'm staring at it and I'm like, bro, this is like the fucking Matrix. I cannot believe this is happening right now. And then on that Monday, after that weekend, photonics absolutely sold off. So that was even crazier about it. So look, I just think the whole goal here is getting everything closer on the board and speed, and making everything cheaper. And I think that all comes down to photonics and optical plugins. And this is why I have been the biggest Marvel bull since May, before Jensen said 1 trillion, before any of that. I bought Google Spot and Marvel to tail it because I know the both of them had a partnership and that they were going to eat off of each other. Sure as shit. Today, you see that Marvel announced that Google is probably going to buy a nice fat share of Marvel shares. Okay. So I've been on this trade. I am sticking to this trade. I will not capitulate to time. It is not happening. I have the conviction. I have the same exact conviction now in this that I did buying Solana between 20 and 90. I'm not folding. I'm not folding. That is going to 1,000 per.
crazy. Yeah, this does look good, and it's up, I think, 10% on the day, 9%. Uh, yeah, I've been hearing a lot about Marvel, and one thing I think I've been like paying attention to is obviously AI is going to be a big thing, and it's going to keep attracting capital, and the Anthropic IPO is going to be interesting. But I've been paying attention to some of the biotech stuff. I don't know if you've seen the research from Lilly. I think I'm really bullish on that company, and I think it's going to be much bigger trend with how AI is progressing. Do you? I think I feel like pharma is a much. I've heard from a lot of people where pharma is a much more degenerate
It
industry
is.
where
It is.
it is more volatile and crypto in a way. It's more degenerate. It's more scammy in a way.
It
Uh,
is.
what are your thoughts on like biotech? Because everything has an intersection with AI in a way, and everything
Mhm.
is going to be accelerated in a way. Do you think like this adjacent of AI where everyone is leveraging these models, how are they going to benefit? When do you think that second order effect of apps or application layer will kind of
Mhm.
kick off? Uh, Maybe not this year, but what are your thoughts on like, is it post IPO of these models? Uh, but yeah,
I'm scared shit of the Anthropic IPO. I really am. Because right now we get to live in the dream, right? We get to live in the dream. We get to see these outlandish ARRs. I don't even, dude, I've been dying to just tweet, is ARR even real? Like, I don't, is it like, I have no clue. And then I see yet last night that OpenAI is posting this ARR, but they're also in the red still. So once you IPO, things get a little different. And right now, everybody that's talking about Anthropic or whatever that has seed rounds that like that are they're invested in it. Like, what do you want? Do you want them to talk down their book? Like, let's be serious. If you put in a lot of money on something, you really, really believe it. But when the paperwork starts coming out, things may change. I don't know. Now, when it comes to the biotech stuff, I will not touch it. Very extremely hard market. I don't care if you're curing cancer. I don't even know if you're going to get an FDA approval. I don't know what's going to happen. It's way too sophisticated for me. I get a crypto condom would probably be the best person for biotech, I think, because that is like his field. I feel like I've seen him absolutely cooking in that
Yeah.
sector. It is just it's not something I could wrap my mind around. I also get the like we're gonna start like making shit to cure diseases, stop aging, all these crazy ass things. And I think Lily is probably your best bet in that direction. But then yet again, if you have Anthropic coming out saying that they're going to be the ones doing all these things, Anthropic sounds like a great exposure to whoever's going to do what. And when it comes to application layers, I'm waiting. I'm sitting and waiting. Who is going to make this killer AI app? Same thing like I said about the application layer for crypto. I have the same thought process. Whoever the killer AI app is
Have you
going
tried
to
the
print.
Have you tried the Grok part? I've been testing it like last couple of days, and it's pretty good. I don't know if you've
I
any
asked
thoughts on.
around. It comes off very normy to me. Um, which hey, I mean that's great. That's cool and all.
Yeah.
I'm more I when I am investing, I don't invest um looking for the average consumer. I'm normally investing looking for the enterprise that is
Correct.
buying. That's why I am a big Google person. That is why I'm big on Marvel. That's kind of why that's where I focus. That's why I would never buy Meta. I don't care about and I wouldn't own OpenAI when it comes out on the market because to me, OpenAI is more normie consumer over enterprise. I don't want the average guy and his $100,000 a year income. I want the enterprise that is spending hand over fist to beat their competitors. That's who I want.
Yeah, I've heard a good point yesterday. I think it was O'Shea, like a podcast from Ben Thompson or someone who said OpenAI missed a big mark where they didn't go all in on ads. Where you should have gone all in on ads if you want to be more consumer. Where people are not going to buy stuff, but if they are the product in a way and if they can get stuff for free, you can just sell off on that scale of things, similar to Google, similar to Facebook, and kind of their line of products. And I agree, right? That's a great point where enterprise sales, I think 70% of their entire revenue. I'm not sure of the
Hmm.
number, but it's very, very high. And Anthropic is kind of in the lead. And I think we had a news today where Anthropic had the lead in revenue, and even though the revenue grew for OpenAI by 18%. The losses were even greater than Q1, so that's
Yes.
not good. That's not good. And I like, XAI and what they are doing. It's kind of an underrated thing. And I think that with what Elon has, he has the most compute and he can set up the most data centers. And he has infinite capital with resources from SpaceX and whatnot, and that's
Hmm.
what you need, right? It's like a race of capital and a race of compute who can
Yeah.
get more
Yeah.
money, who can build more stuff in the fastest way.
I'm so
So
happy
it's
you
a
said that actually. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
yeah, that's
All
it. I was
right.
just saying it's like a race of capital. He has the most money. He has the skill of manufacturing. He
Hmm.
can set up as many plants as he wants. It's like an
Yes.
underestimated play. I don't know how it plays out, but it's something to watch out for.
So I have been waiting and waiting to buy SpaceX. I mean, I've been on the timeline. I keep saying I'll see you under 100. I'll see you under 100. I do believe I see under 100, but that does not change my thesis on that Elon is going to eat a lot of people's lunch. He's going to take a lot of people's milkshakes away from them. Him and Jensen are going to be a power couple, and they're going to take everything and anything. You're going to have the compute and you're going to have the GPUs with just those two men right there. and I think they eat a lot of people's lunch. One company I don't think they get to eat a lot of lunch off of is Google and maybe an Amazon, but everybody else is going to have to come kiss the ring. He's going to be putting out data centers, I think 20 times faster than anybody else or 50 times faster than anybody else. Everybody thinks SpaceX is just sending rockets to Mars. I mean, and then they've just come to the realization that that's not what the company is, which brings me back to how we opened this entire podcast. Is everything that I look at is common sense apparently is not common sense, and I have to stop discounting my thoughts that I see as so simple, because I'm
Yep.
watching in real time people have epiphanies months to years later on what I thought was such an easy concept to understand. It's insane. It's just, do not sleep on SpaceX. Is it very volatile right now because it's a super low float? It's basically a crypto float when they launch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super hard to trade. I'm not gonna lie to you, it really is. But I would love to buy some spot in SpaceX. I think that dude. You own that thing and you hold that shit for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I I think he merges with Tesla eventually. The dude's
Yep.
gonna have the compute, the robots, the cars. Like he's gonna be the real overlord that everyone speaks of when it comes to this
And
AI shit.
And the terafab thing, I don't know how it plays out even, but if that thing succeeds, right, that is like the dependency on TSMC and this
Yep.
whole Taiwan situation. If that goes away, he's just gonna, I don't know, it's just gonna be crazy. But yeah, we're at time. One final question for you. This has been a fascinating conversation. We talked about so many topics across the board, TradFi, macro, and crypto. But one final thing for our audience, Pivot. You've been here for 10 years, you've been trading different markets. Any like high level advice you would give for someone navigating crypto, especially, and the stuff slowly have been in this bear market and slowly things are starting to turn? Any advice for them?
All right. If you're really down to doing this, I know everybody makes things look easy online. Okay. One, it is not easy. Two, there is nothing more in this market than you versus you. No one else. The chart has nothing to do with it besides you versus you. Well, the chart in the end will have something to do with it, but it's the decisions you have made that come with the results that you get. Besides that, if you're going to go into trading perps and all these other things, I will tell you 80 to 90% of your cash should be in spot only. And then with your spot, you should not have everything to the far right side of the risk curve. There should be something a little bit more stable that gets you a 2x, something that maybe has 3x, 5x potential, and the little slither of that 80% you could put in something that you think is going to do a fucking 100x, right? It doesn't even need the same amount of size because it's going to do 100x anyway. If your thing is really going to come to fruition. The other thing, if you're a perp trader, also, I personally recommend that you set a threshold on the account, whether that's 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. Every time that account taps that threshold, you take that cash out. The market will humble you always. So if you hit a few runners, you're going to get gassed up potentially. You're going to size up potentially, or even in this chop, you're going to up the leverage or up the size to make up for the little trading range you're in, and you're going to cripple yourself eventually. Okay. Also, cross margin is not exactly your friend at all. And on a day like 1010, you're going to pay for it. Really pay for it. You will be wiped clean. Try your best to trade on isolated. Some things you could trade on cross, but in crypto in general, like look at today. If you were on cross and you were short, you got railed for your entire thing. most likely. Okay, that was a decent sized move today.
Yeah.
Everything comes down to your risk, controlling your risk, and controlling your mental. Everything else will follow. Keep clicking. Don't fucking quit.
Yes, sir. I think that is the best advice anyone has ever given. And but yeah, this is so fun. Thank you so much, Pivot, for giving your time today. And I'm sure our listeners have learned a thing or two, and especially some of the plays you mentioned and some of the targets you have given. I hope plays out. We should do this again. Maybe we're at, I don't know, BTC at 100K or something. But yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Hell yeah, dude. Totally enjoyed this, and I hope you blow up, bro. This is great. Thank you.